learners, welcome to the course on Tribes of Northern and Northeast region of India. Today we will be learning about tribes of Sikkim. This forms Unit 4 of BSW 044. I am Professor Rosenembia Kim, your course coordinator. Now, before we go on to the tribes of Sikkim, it is important that I tell you the objective of this course. Now, in this session, we will learn about the tribal communities of Sikkim. After introducing the tribal scenario in the state, we shall discuss the geographical location, socio-economic life, beliefs and customs of the major tribes of the state. The session will also discuss in brief other minor tribes found in the state. Now, after attending the session, you should be able to know briefly the tribal scenario in the state of Sikkim, the geographical distribution of the tribes in the state, the socio-economic life of the tribes in the state, and the beliefs and customs of the tribes in the state. Now, having said that, I would like to introduce to you Sikkim. A former kingdom and a fascinating Himalayan jewel, Sikkim is situated in eastern Himalayas, spreading below Mount Kanchenjunga. It is approximately 8,534 meters high. The third highest mountain in the world. This is the Mount Kanchenjunga. The various ethnic groups have their own nomenclature for this enchanting land. The Nepalese call it Sikkim or New Home, while Tibetans refer to it as Denzong or the Valley of Rice, and to the Lepcha, the original inhabitants of Sikkim, it is called Heaven. Lying between 27° to 28° north latitude and 88° to 89° east longitude, Sikkim is bound on the north and northeast by Tibet, on the east by Bhutan, on the west by Nepal, and on the south by Darjeeling district of West Bengal. It has an area of 7,096 square kilometer. The population of Sikkim is 6,10,577 million according to 2011 census and is scattered over 4 districts and 452 villages. The people of Sikkim are modest and simple by nature. They take much pride in their glorious culture and beliefs. There are 3 main ethnic groups in Sikkim, namely the Lepchas, the Bhutia and the Nepalese. Of these, the Lepcha are considered the original inhabitants of the state, and the other 2 groups migrated to the states at different intervals. The Bhutia came from Tibet, while the Nepalese migrated from Nepal. According to 2011 census, the scheduled tribal population constitutes 33.79% of the total state's population. Of these, 33.72% are Bhutia, while the Lepcha constitute 20.7%. Even though the Nepalese were the last to migrate into Sikkim, soon they gained the recognition of being the most dominant group since they comprise approximately 75% of the entire population of Sikkim. The Nepalese are not considered tribals, although some groups among them have been accorded the status of scheduled tribes in recent years. Besides these are also groups from the plains like the Marwari, the Bihari, the Bengali, the Punjabi and the South Indians who settled in Sikkim. They are mostly engaged in business and government service. The 3 major languages of the state are Lepcha, Bhutia and Nepali. Nepali has now become the lingua franca of the state. Lepcha and Bhutia languages belong to the Tibeto-Burmese linguistic family. Besides these 3, there are also other languages spoken by minor tribes like Magar, Tamang, Rai and Limbu. However, there are 4 official languages in the state, namely Lepcha, Bhutia, Nepali and Limbu. The 2 major religions of Sikkim are Buddhism and Hinduism. Majority of the Lepcha and the Bhutia are Buddhists, while majority of the Nepalese are Hindus. Besides these 2 main religions, there are also Muslims, Christians, Sikhs and Jains. Buddhism was earlier the state religion of Sikkim. Shrouded in heavy mist, the guardian deity Kanchenjunga protects the inhabitants of Sikkim. Omnipresent and mystical, Kanchenjunga finally yields to nature's power and sheds its monsoon veil in autumn. People celebrate it with great pomp and ceremony during the Pang Lobsal festival. The natives believe that the great god created from beneath the slope of the sacred mountain the original man and woman from whom all Sikkim-Is are descended. Other festivals of Sikkim belong to two distinct religio-cultural groups, namely the Lepcha Bhutia culture based on Buddhism and the Nepali culture based on Hinduism. The Lepcha Bhutia Buddhism of Sikkim have 5 major festivals, namely the Tibetan New Year, the Labab Duchen, the Sangadawa, the Pang Lobsol and the Losong. The Nepalese have 3 major festivals, namely the Dasain, the Tihar and the Maghe Sankranti. The first 2 festivals of the Nepalese are known in the other parts of India as the Shera and Diwali respectively. Now, before I continue, after having discussed with you a brief about Sikkim, I would like to share with you interesting facts about Sikkim. Now, the capital of Sikkim is Gangtok. It was formed on 16th of May 1975. Sikkim was an independent kingdom till it became India's 22nd state on 16th of May 1975 when it was formed. Sikkim is divided into 4 districts: North Sikkim, South Sikkim, East Sikkim and West Sikkim. Now, the capital of North Sikkim is known as Mangan. Capital of West Sikkim is known as Geizing. Capital of South Sikkim is known as Namchi and capital of East Sikkim is known as Gangtok. Now, one should also remember that Sikkim state is the second smallest state by area and least populous state. Teesta River is called the lifeline of Sikkim. Kanchenjunga National Park is one of the highest national parks in the world. Guru Dongmer Lake is one of the highest lakes in the world. It is considered a holy place for Buddhists, Hindus and Sikhs. Also in Sikkim, the world's 3rd highest peak, Kanchenjunga, is located. Sikkim accounts for the largest share of cardamom production in India along with spices. Losang is the New Year festival of Sikkim and Sonam Losong is the farmers' New Year festival. Major dance form of Sikkim is Kali Topi. Tankas or religious coal paintings depicting scenes from Buddha's life are a major art and crafts form as well as the sand mandala. The red panda is the state animal and they also have a festival known as the Red Panda Festival. The state bird of Sikkim is called the blood peasant. The state flower is rhododendron. Now, after having understood all these interesting facts about Sikkim, let us now understand about some of the tribes within Sikkim. We will start with the Lepcha tribe. The Lepchas are the original inhabitants of Sikkim and Darjeeling Hills. They are mostly concentrated in the central part of Sikkim. They lived in Sikkim much before the Bhutia and the Nepalese who migrated to the state. But now they have become a minority in their own state and have a reservation allocated to them in the Zonggu region of North Sikkim. The Lepchas are often referred to as Rongpa, which means ravine people. The term Lepcha is a mispronunciation of Lapche, a name given to them by Nepali dwellers. However, the Lepcha like to call themselves Rongkup, Rongkup or Rong, which means respectively the son of the snowy peak or the son of God, and also as Mutachi Rong or mother's beloved children. Now, let us understand the religious beliefs and social customs. The original faith of the Lepcha is called Mungbonthigism, a sort of Zoroastrian monotheism. It is also called the Bon cult or the Moon religion. The religion is a sort of shamanistic form of worship of the supernatural. The ancient Lepcha worshipped nature in all its various forms like rivers, lakes and mountains. The creation is attributed to Itmo, the ancient mother and her husband. The father was meant to maintain order after the creation, which was attributed to female deities. The children of Itmo were Nazongu and Tagbo-Thing. Nazongu had a son, Tashe-Thing, who is the most popular male deity. The Lepcha are said to be the progeny of Nazongu and her brother's husband, Tagbo-Thing. The concept of heaven is Rumliang, a place above the sky where the Rum or gods reside. I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly. Beneath the earth are said to be water, fire and wind. There is a great number of evil spirits, demons and devils who live on trees, rocks, mountains, etc. The same gods seem to be both good and bad. The Lepcha also believed in the concept of Mun or Bungthing, who is an intermediary between the Rum and the humans and even the evil spirits. Lepcha's sacrifices seem to be directed towards requesting the spirit to go away. Both Bungthing, that is the priest, and Mun, that is the priestess, assisted the people in performing the various religious rites. At a later period, the Lepcha gradually absorbed Buddhism under the Lama, that is the Buddhist priest. Thus, both the Lama as well as the Bungthing coexisted in the Lepcha religious system. By the 19th century, most of the Lepcha embraced Christianity. The Lepcha tribal community also had various festivals. One of the major festivals is Nam Song, which is popularly known as Losong. This festival marks the beginning of the new year, which is usually the time when the farmers rejoice and celebrate their harvest. Pang Lapsol is another festival which they celebrate to worship Mount Kanchenjunga as a guardian deity who protects the land and looks after the people. The Lepcha live mostly by trade or agriculture. Their favorite crops are paddy, oranges and cardamom. They are excellent weavers and make fine and excellent tribal cloth. They are also expert in bamboo and cane weaving. Generally, they build their house with woody stems of bamboo, rectangular in shape and 4 or 5 feet above the ground. In their huts, life is very simple. They also have a very close link with nature. Now, this link with nature is almost seen in most of the tribal society that we have discussed before and which we shall be discussing later on. The Lepcha are hospitable, docile, peace-loving, sociable and very intelligent. Physically, they are well-built and fair in appearance. They love sports and games. Their language is Lepcha, which falls under the Tibeto-Burmese group. They appreciate the importance of education. Thus, there are many highly educated people from their community. Regarding their social setup, they follow a patrilineal society. With regard to marriage, they have a custom of polyandry and a tradition of bride price. For the Lepcha, marriage amongst men and women of the same clan, Ajit or Putso, is prohibited. Marriage amongst son and daughters of sister and brother is a taboo. It portends disaster. It is against the nature of humankind. The couple committing such taboo is excommunicated by Bungthing or Mun and expelled from the clan for good. Bungthing we know is the priest and Mun is the priestess. The people of the locality, particularly the Lepcha, stops any kind of transaction with them. They cannot belong to the Lepcha community anymore. With regards to funerary rites, there are 3 alternative methods for the disposal of the dead, that is, cremation, burial, or throwing the corpse into river. The method they adopt depends on the condition of the deceased and the advice of the Lama. Traditionally, the Lepcha used to bury their dead, but with the advent of Buddhism, cremation of the dead has become a common practice. However, Muns and Buthings are normally buried facing Mount Kanchenjunga, the guardian deity of the tribe. When children die, they are sometimes left in caves or thrown into a river. If a Lama or a Mun die in the wet season, the body is thrown into a river, depending on the dictates of the Lama. The direction in which the corpse should be removed for disposal is settled by the Lama according to the position in which the person expired, and the hour thereof has also to be taken into account. A Lama is summoned immediately after death to help the soul of the deceased to reach heaven. The dead body is kept in the house for a long time, from 1 to 49 days according to the decision of the Lama. the death ceremony is called Sanglian. Regarding inheritance, the members of a family have the following properties: Athiu, that is the ancestral properties, and Athul, self-acquired properties. Athiu is partitioned among the members of the family, but Athul property is retained by the member acquiring it. Sons and grandsons succeeded to the ancestral properties belonging to a grandfather, grandmother, father and mother. In absence of a son or an adopted son, the above mentioned shall succeed to the properties belonging to the paternal uncle. Let us now understand the Bhutia tribes in Sikkim. The Bhutia migration to Sikkim seems to have started in the 16th century. The migration took place continuously in many ways and through different routes from the northern and western passes of Sikkim. The Bhutia are distributed in the 4 districts of Sikkim. That is what we had heard about in the previous class. The Bhutia are distributed in the 4 districts of Sikkim, but their main concentration is in North Sikkim. They live in hilly terrain of high altitude and cold climate, where there is high rainfall with medium snowfall and high humidity with dense forests. They speak Bhutia, which uses Tibetan script. A majority of them can also speak Nepali. The Bhutia are divided into 2 groups. The first one is Tondu Rushi, within which they have 4 Rus, namely Chechuthapa, Sandarpa, Kachopa and Sangapa. And second is Beb Senge, which includes 8 Rus, namely Gangsapa, Namchongopa, Chungyopa, Ithenpa, Pengchungpa and Peng Punadik, Nam Nakpa and Nang Changpa. I hope I pronounced them correctly. The Tondu Rushi groups are superior to Beb Sangyu groups. Now let us understand the religious belief and social customs among the Bhutia. The majority of the Bhutia follow Buddhism. In fact, they came into Sikkim in the wake of the spiritual sway of Buddhism in the latter half of the 17th century. As regards to dress, the Bhutia men wear ko, a long-sleeved coat with belt or kera, located or locally called the boku, while the women wear the sleeveless ko with the honju, a blouse with long sleeves. The male Bhutia also wear the sontati, a shirt underneath the boku. Before their migration from Tibet, marriage was endogamous at the community level. In Sikkim, except among the Lepcha, the Sherpa and the Tamang, marriage is still endogamous at the community level, but exogamous at the Ru level. They also practice sororate junior, that is type of marriage in which husband engages in marriage or sexual relations with the sister of his wife, usually after the death of his wife or if the wife is proven infertile. And levirate junior, that is a custom in which a man may be obliged to marry his brother's widow. Marriage records show that the adult marriage is in vogue and generally the wife is younger than the husband. But there are many cases where the wives are older. Modes of acquiring mates are negotiation and service. Monogamy is a general practice except in the North District where fraternal polyandry is noticed. Till very recently, by polyandry we mean the practice or custom of a woman married to more than one man at the same time. Now the married Bhutia woman wears a striped apron called the pangden as a sign of the married state. During the period of pregnancy, there is no restriction on women, though after the birth of a baby, both the mother and the child are cleaned and kept in a separate room. But no restriction as such is imposed. As soon as the mother is able to walk and work, she goes to the kitchen. After 3 days, a priest comes to purify the child, the mother and the house. After the child is born, a little butter is given to the child with 1 or 2 drops of honey. From the second day, powdered rice with butter is given to the child. The purificatory and name-giving ceremony called the pangsang or pangke is fixed depending upon the physical fitness of the mother and the child. Their priest, who is known as a lama, gives the name. Relatives and friends are invited and a feast is arranged. The maternal uncle gives a cash gift and other presents to the child. The Bhutia cremate the dead in their own cremation ground. The dead body is kept for a period varying from 3 to 49 days depending on the status of the deceased in the society. Thereafter, the body is embalmed with preservatives and wrapped in plastic sheets and put into a square coffin and carried between two horizontal bamboo poles. The Lama conducts the final rites. Nobody will touch the body before the Lama gives his blessing. The Lama lights the fire first, then other villagers light the fire. After cremation, people come back to the house and at night perform puja to drive away the demon who has taken the soul of the dead. Now, property appears to be the main source of conflict. As for rules of inheritance, property is inherited only by the sons. Sons get equal share except the youngest, who generally stays in the house and looks after his mother and younger sisters and therefore is entitled to a little extra above the others. Other sons usually go out and seek other professions. Generally, one of the sons will become a monk, but he will also get a share of property. Succession is by the eldest son. In festivals and religious rituals, the families come together. Now with this, we come to the end of the session. We shall talk more about the tribes in Sikkim in the next session. Thank you for listening.